News 4 San Antonio starts right now.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the arrest in a case of the 10-year-old Kerrville boy who investigators say was set on fire on purpose. News 4 San Antonio's Michael Locklear first broke this story and joins us now with the update. Michael?
About 8:30 tonight, the Kerrville Fire Marshal told us a child is now in custody accused of causing the boy's severe burns. We also learned tonight the victim in this case has taken a turn for the worst here at University Hospital. 10-year-old Caden Culp's organs are failing, and he has been burned from his ears to his belly button. He's on life support right now. On Sunday afternoon, relatives say one boy doused Caden with gasoline, then another lit him on fire at a shed in Kerrville. Aunt Kelly Mack believes the attack was planned.
The other kids are saying that, he was going to be riding his bike like he always is. My nephew, Caden, is going to be riding his bike, and they said we're going to grab him and take him inside and burn him.
His aunt calls the crime attempted murder and says Caden has special needs, trouble hearing and talking. He also exhibits autistic behavior. Right now, the juvenile in custody has been charged with first-degree arson. It's not clear whether any more charges could be filed as Caden continues fighting for his life. We should learn more during the news conference tomorrow morning. Reporting live at University Hospital tonight, Michael Locklear, News 4, San Antonio.
New developments now in efforts to make an intersection safer after two teenagers were hit and severely injured. The intersection is on the southwest side at Valley High and Cedarhurst. We first told you about the issues back in May when Naomi Gaitan was put in a month-long coma after being hit. And just last month, a second teen was hit in the same intersection. News 4's Renee Santos joins us live from that intersection with more on Naomi's recovery and how the city is working to prevent this from happening to another child. Renee?
Well, as my photographer Kelsey and I were driving to this location, we noticed at least 5 light posts that were completely out on Valley High. And if you take a look at the intersection now, at the intersection of Valley High and Cedarhurst, you can see that the lighting just isn't the greatest. Naomi was walking home from work when she was hit in this intersection. The family says that driver said, "I just didn't see her." Now the family is fighting to improve lighting and enhance safety so that this doesn't happen to anyone else.
Tilt those down a little bit. There we go.
In seconds, she went from 100% to, very little chances.
You want a break? Is that hurting you?
Literally in seconds, Naomi Gaitan's life went from being a normal teen to this.
Up again.
Now having therapy Monday through Friday to strengthen her muscles.
Use your muscles back over here.
And teach her to talk again.
Can you say you love me? Say it.
Use your voice.
Say it. I love you too. It's changed my sister's world upside down.
Naomi was walking home from work at night, passing by the intersection of Valley High and Cedarhurst. That's when she was struck by a car trying to make a left turn.
The roadway there, it's all dark. You don't see anybody. If your headlights turn off, it's pure dark.
Naomi's story reached District 4 Councilman Ray Saldana's office. The councilman has since submitted a request to the Transportation and Capital Improvement Department to conduct a study on the intersection where Naomi was hit. The study will look at ways to upgrade additional signage, add audible crosswalk signals, improve sidewalks, traffic signal timing, and add potential lighting.
A lot of things change.
Nice and tall. High five.
Naomi's family finds strength in Naomi's actions.
Hercules, come on. All right. When she's happy, so happy, she takes out her tongue at you and just blows kisses.
As they pray improvements come to an intersection that changed her life and push for change in hopes of saving others.
I just feel that my niece will walk out of here.
Now Naomi will have her 10th surgery on Monday. Councilman Saldana plans to meet with the TCI department to review that study. Once it's complete, he then plans to review it and create a plan to enhance safety in this intersection. For now, reporting live on the southwest side, Renee Santos, News 4, San Antonio.
All right, thanks, Renee. Right now, people all along the southeast coast are leaving their homes. They're heading for safety as Hurricane Matthew is heading their way. Let's go to News 4's Robert Price on the live desk for the latest. Robert?
Good evening, Randy. Right now, we've got 2 live shots up showing areas in the path of Matthew. This is a marina in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And here's a nighttime shot of South Carolina, people heading west, leaving Charleston. But let's go back to Florida. They're the first in line. Tonight, the governor there says people now have less than 24 hours to evacuate and take shelter. He says it could be a matter of life and death. Get this, in Florida alone, these evacuation orders affect more than 1.5 million people in 12 counties. All right, now to South Carolina and a bizarre evacuation-related story developing there tonight. This bumper-to-bumper traffic has been a familiar sight all day in this area. But according to local law enforcement, we just learned, one man became upset with his evacuation route, apparently, decided to lead deputies on a chase. Eventually, it's being reported the man got out of his car and opened fire on the deputies. The deputies shot back, the man was hit, and he is now in the hospital in unknown condition. But back to Hurricane Matthew. Tonight, the governor of Florida is warning that a direct hit to Florida could lead to massive destruction. Category 4 we're talking about, on a level unseen since Hurricane Andrew in Miami back in 1992. That is the latest from the live desk. I'm Robert Price. Now back to you.
All right, thanks, Robert. Right now, at this very moment, in the National DNA Database, there are more than 12 million offender profiles, and over 800,000 of those are from Texas. And tonight, our Melissa Vega is taking a closer look at our Bexar County Crime Lab, the profiles there, and the people arrested. It's new tonight at 10.
It was the arrest of this man last month, 36-year-old Robert Acosta, that made us look a little closer at CODIS, the Combined DNA Index System. Acosta was arrested on aggravated sexual assault of 2 teenage girls. The case dates back to 1999. At that time, evidence from the victims was collected. Fast forward years later, according to a criminal complaint, a woman who knew Acosta filed a sexual assault report against him. That evidence was submitted to the lab in February of last year, and there was a CODIS match with a 1999 DNA profile.
Since 2012 through 2015, we've had 302 investigations aided through CODIS procedures.
In the serology lab and DNA section, they deal with body fluids found at crime scenes, blood, saliva, semen, biological samples that could produce a DNA profile. Assistant Crime Lab Director Henry Holliday says one of the first cases he worked was a murder of a woman in 1994.
There was a semen stain left at the scene.
A forensic profile was created, and years later, in 2002, there was a match linking Rodrigo Hernandez to the murder of Susan Verstergan. Hernandez happened to be in prison in Michigan. As part of his parole, he submitted a DNA sample, and that's how he was caught. Hernandez was put to death in Texas in 2012 and also linked to another murder in Michigan. For Crime Labs, it's about collecting the evidence, building the profiles, and helping law enforcement.
And every Friday, the County Crime Lab submits local profiles to the State Crime Lab to see if there's a hit. Information is then sent to the national database. The Bexar County Crime Lab received 13 hits in August. Of course, it varies from month to month. Melissa Vega, News 4, San Antonio.
New details now on the fate of the well-known Malt House restaurant on the west side. Just a couple of hours ago, it was decided it will be demolished. The Malt House on South Zarzamora Street has been there since 1949, but could soon become a 7-Eleven convenience store. San Antonio's Historic Design Review Commission gave the green light at tonight's meeting. Those who opposed the move cited the restaurant's historic and cultural significance to the community. There's no timeline on when the change will happen.
A teenager here is now organizing a concert to honor a local teenager who was cyberbullied.
News 4's Aaron Nichols explains how this will help our community as part of News 4 San Antonio's Make It Stop campaign to end bullying.
Music has such a healing quality. It expresses that which cannot be put into words.
Inside Christ Episcopal Church, musician Ryan Murphy rehearses for a birthday concert in honor of David Molak.
And I have so many friends that are a year younger than I am, and I can't imagine them suddenly being gone.
18-year-old Abigail Dixon is organizing the concert. She didn't know David, but like many others, she connected with his story.
I have experienced bullying. I think everyone has,
On January 4th, David took his own life after he was cyberbullied. His family says the relentless attacks made him feel hopeless and pushed him over the edge.
It's definitely going to be difficult, but to know that so many people will be here celebrating him, celebrating his birthday, and having cake for him is going to help us get through the day.
Those involved in the concert hope it opens up conversations about bullying and that it reminds people to be kind.
Because you never know what someone could privately be going through.
David's birthday concert will be on Monday, October 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Christ Episcopal Church. There will be a free performance by San Antonio Symphony musicians at 7. However, attendees are asked to donate $17 to David's Legacy Foundation because, again, David would have been 17 on Monday. Erin Nichols, News 4, San Antonio.
Still ahead on 4, how the government could be putting you at risk because of vehicle recalls, what we've uncovered in an exclusive investigation.
And the overdose epidemic continues to grow. We have video of employees fighting to keep a couple alive. Straight ahead.
Well, it was a pretty day, but the heat index was up to 95 right here in San Antonio. We're going to fix that in the next couple of days. I'll explain when I come back.
We have a consumer alert now that deals with the millions of vehicles recalled this year. Our new digital partner, Circa, discovered that the government's own fleet of vehicles, well, they're not getting the required repairs after being recalled. And as Jossie Sturman found out, they also sell them to you with risky, outstanding recalls.
What you're watching is not a tribal dance. It's an auction where the federal government is selling cars it doesn't want anymore. Based on what we know, you may not want them either.
It's pretty bad.
The General Services Administration has thousands of retired fleet cars for sale across the country.
I think this is going to be one.
We took some road trips to public auctions in Texas, Pennsylvania, and a few states in between to check them out, discovering hundreds of cars with open recalls that could put you at risk. We're talking about everything from steering problems that could make you lose control and crash, to airbags that could shoot out metal pieces, even a defect that can shut off the engine of the car.
I'm shocked. I mean, absolutely shocked. They should have been fixed before they even went to the auctions to be sold.
Clarence Ditlow with the Center for Auto Safety is calling out the GSA after we showed him they're auctioning cars with potentially dangerous problems that haven't been fixed. The repairs are free, and something NHTSA, another government agency that issues recalls, says should be done in any car that has one.
That's just hypocrisy.
A company called AutoApp helped us crunch the stats. As of mid-August, the feds had more than 2,000 cars up for auction. More than 20% had open recalls.
It's bothersome, it's worrisome to me, and the whole ecosystem is broken.
The GSA wouldn't talk about the concerns we raised on camera. They did send a statement saying bidders and buyers are notified there may be outstanding recalls, telling them to check with NHTSA and local dealerships.
Someone is going to be killed because you sold this GSA vehicle with an outstanding recall.
The recalls could also impact federal employees who were behind the wheel before these cars were sold.
Serviced in April with a recall from 2013 that still hasn't been fixed.
We found service stickers that show some of the cars were still on the road without being fixed months and sometimes years after the recalls were issued. I'm Josie Sturman for Circa.
Now, to learn more about how the GSA says it is monitoring the recalls in the government's fleet, just go to circa.com.
Topping headlines across the nation tonight, a Wisconsin man who has spent the last 24 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit is free. He was originally sentenced to 120 years for sexual assault, but new DNA tested ruled him out as a suspect. The overdose epidemic only getting worse. In Ohio, a woman helped save the lives of 2 people she believes overdosed on drugs. And as Frankie Jupiter reports, the situation brought back painful memories for her.
Put the seat back. Put their seatbelt on. It might be able. Yeah, do that.
Hey, it's purple, dude.
Her lips are purple. There ain't no telling how long they've been sitting here.
Before they could take pie orders, employees at Isidore's Pizzeria spring into action after finding 2 people unresponsive in a vehicle in the parking lot.
They were hugging like they died together. Like they were hugging one another. We pulled them apart and threw them back because wanted to clear their airway.
Stacy Patterson is one of the cooks here at Isidore's. He had just finished prepping the food line before learning about what was happening in the parking lot just a few feet away.
We did the Narcan in the nose. We only had 2 of them, so we gave 1 each and sprayed them in their nose.
The fire department confirms it did take a Narcan run this morning to the pizzeria and had to administer the drug. For Patterson, this scene was more than just a scary way to start the day.
What's going through your mind as you're seeing this?
My dad. It's the heroin.
Patterson says unfortunately she has loved ones dealing with addiction. Although this is her first time jumping into action, she's seen others overdose before. She has a message for those dealing with addiction.
One more time, this might be the last. That Narcan might not save you.
Patterson says the restaurant had Narcan nasal spray on hand because of a conversation with a nurse about the ongoing drug problems there. There's no word tonight on the current condition of the couple found in the parking lot.
San Antonio's voice tonight. So much is different this election season. We've heard it before. The signs, they are a-changing, literally, too. Have you seen these? I actually saw these just down the street from my house, which may tell you something about my neighbors, but there's something else, too.
The sign business is definitely down. There's no question about that.
You see, I thought I hadn't seen as many signs around town this year, not just for Hillary or Trump, but for the local candidates too. So I checked with the biggest political sign printer in town and found out I was right.
There's been less money this year for some reason. I think a lot of it has to do with the top of the ticket and the confusion that has raised.
Now, John Herbots of Allied Advertising told me some of it may be because fewer big, hotly contested local races, but a lot of it is the candidates were apparently waiting, at least for the first debate, to see how much their party's presidential nominee might help or hurt them.
The other thing I think is important. It would be squandered too, believe me.
I've got a feeling that the coattail effect is going to be less this year than it's ever been before. And that's what the down ballot folks are concerned about. The lever for their party won't be pulled. That undervoting is going to be a serious problem this year.
Undervoting, he means here that people may not bother to vote in races all the way down the ballot. John Herbots is hoping the campaign sign business for him will pick up now that we're closer to Election Day. But 10 years ago, when he bought that company, he decided to hedge his bets in politics and to expand in all kinds of other stuff. So instead of half his business, political is now just 10%. And now, back to you can pick these up online, $25 a pop at simplysigns.com. Same price if you narrow it down to they both, Or the attack signs, Crooked Hillary for Prison, you got those. And Trump, don't comb over here. You get it? Now, while this kind of thing is big this year, it is hardly new. Check this out. This was what they call the broadside for George McClellan in 1860, saying you elect Lincoln, you'll get a draft and ruin. McClellan will bring union and peace. Well, you may remember voters ignored those signs, and long term it, turned out pretty well. Maybe we'll ignore these. Who knows? You can let us know what you think later on our Facebook page.
San Antonio's most accurate forecast. 4-zone weather.
We've been talking about how big Matthew is. Let me give you a proportion. We could drop most of San Antonio right there into the eye of that big old storm. And it is the size virtually of Texas. So this is monstrous. This is hurricane force winds. I measured it. It's about 93 miles across. So those are winds minimum 74 all the way up to 140. Sustained. It's not a gust. It's going to go through you for 4 hours just like that. All right, so here's the storm. It's going to continue, as we know, up the eastern seaboard of Florida with heavy rain, 140-mile-an-hour winds, small tornadoes, and a tidal surge or a tidal wave as it comes in Friday morning to Daytona Beach. It's going to skirt the Carolinas, come back around again, and finally recurve out into the Atlantic Ocean. They're expecting lots of damage all along the eastern seaboard up to the Carolinas. For us, we expect the front to come in. High pressure is going to build at the high altitudes. So here's what it's going to do. It's going to take those winds and the rain and push them off to the west. So it looks like the western zone now is going to get the brunt of the rain. We will only get patchy rain as the system comes through. Tomorrow, 68 to 85, partly cloudy skies. 66 to 85, 86 in the hill country, 70 to 90 with some sprinkles in the afternoon, and only a 20% chance of rain, daytime heating with highs about 88 degrees. Tonight then, once again, partly cloudy, fog coming in late tonight. It's been patchy the last few days, so I'm not looking at zero visibility, but you'll find it. 91 tomorrow. Heat index today was 95. I think we could easily do that again once the fog and the clouds burn off. 7-day forecast, 20 and 20 is all we're going to eke out of this front, but it does get us into the low 80s. I was hoping for upper 70s, but I don't think it's got that much oomph to get that done yet. 7-day forecast for everybody else calls for the rainy day on Friday, cooler temperatures for a few days, and then we're back to normal settings for the next 4 or 5. This is all online, by the way, at news4sa.com.
All right, Dez Bryant has a fractured kneecap, but he might play this weekend, the latest on the Cowboys injuries. And pop on politics. It's good stuff, even better than those signs we just showed you. Don't miss it, straight ahead. You know, when you're the greatest coach in the NBA and arguably of all time, there is a certain freedom that comes with that clout and I guess with age. And it has been thoroughly entertaining to watch Coach Pop dish on social issues and politics lately. Pop made a strong statement about race relations on Media Day. He's become much more open about politics and society. His players have had to hear the brutal truth from him over the year. It's what makes them better. Same with members of the media. Boy, I know I've heard it from him. His coaching extends, though, beyond basketball. And today he had some more advice when he was asked about the vice presidential debate.
I started to watch it, but after a certain amount of time it became so disgusting, so childish to see two grown men act like they were in high school. And it was just really disappointing, and you wonder about the level of discourse. Just the level of civility was ridiculously low. The childish need to interrupt and not listen. It was really disgusting. Both of them.
So now you know how he feels. As for basketball, you know, we have speculated since the summer about how much Tim Duncan's retirement will affect this team. Well, the speculation is over. The reality has set in. In fact, it set in day one, practice one of training camp when the Spurs realized just how much change there has been.
First day, first drills, you realize how many new guys and how many new faces when nobody knows what the hell we're doing. And you're trying to tell people to get in spots, and you're like, holy shit, we have nobody here that knows what's going on. It's like 5 guys that was here previous. And I said, him not being here and the others not being here is very different, just a lot of new faces.
They got plenty of time. Spurs play their first home preseason game Saturday night. Coach Bud and the Hawks are here 7:30 at the AT&T Center. All right, Dez Bryant not on the field today for the Cowboys practice. That's understandable because he has a hairline fracture in his knee. But get this, Jerry Jones said on his radio show, Dez could still play Sunday. There was some good news, better news for the Cowboys. Their $90 million tackle, Tyron Smith, was back at practice for the first time since suffering a back issue a few weeks ago. He's missed 2 straight games but could return this week. Same with Orlando Scandrick. Although the Cowboys never commit to anything, Jason Garrett just says they're processing it, they're moving forward, and it's day to day. Cowboys not even the biggest news in Dallas this week. I know it's hard to believe, but the Rangers and the Blue Jays, the hot topic in Big D. The Jays beat the Rangers in the playoffs a year ago. Remember the bat flip from Joey Batista? Well, that didn't go over well with the Rangers, and then we all remember this. Rougned Odor took matters into his own hands when the two teams played earlier this year. The right cross right on the chin, just part of that bitter hatred between these two teams, and it is back on now. The ALDS gets underway tomorrow. The Rangers hosting the Blue Jays in Game 1. We will be there with the crew. First pitch, 3:30 there in Arlington. Hey, big game for UTSA this week. They host Southern Miss at the Dome, and they're looking to correct a lot of the mistakes that cost them against Old Dominion. They've had an extra week coming off that bye in order to get ready for this one, and they need it. Southern Miss is good. It's the game that could turn UTSA's season around if they take care of business.
It certainly is a big-time football game. You talk about a 4-1 opponent that has beaten the team in the SEC that's quality, that's well coached, and can hold their own against anyone. So we're going to go out, we're going to compete, and we're going to put ourselves in position to have an opportunity to win this football game, and that will be based on our preparation the duration of this week.
Yes, Southern Miss beat Kentucky already this year. UTSA and Southern Miss, 11 a.m. on our sister station, the CW35. And what a week it was for our Pick and Pull High School Football Player of the Week. We had 3 great nominees, but the results are in, and it is time to announce the winner. And the winner is Dean Wallace of Navarro. With that first hurdle you saw, he got 41% of the vote. So he wins our Pick and Pull Play of the Week. Busy week with high school football tomorrow night on TNL, Friday Night Fever, baseball playoffs, Spurs preseason, Cowboys on Sunday,
and Cubs
Sunday Night Football.
We'll be right back.
Day for the people in Florida tomorrow as Matthew comes up, and a sunny and warm day for us.
Can't complain.
Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.